Hello and welcome to the Berkcast, the How to Train Your Dragon podcast. I am your host, HC, and with me are, as always,
Rush 2112.
And Voyager, hello.
and today we discuss the one, the only, for now, offspring of Lightning and Death himself, the current, I, man, I messed it up, but the one and only Alpha Dragon and Hiccup's best friend, the Night Fury, Toothless. So, what do you guys think about Toothless? Not that it should surprise anyone, because it's a How to Train Dragon podcast. What the hell else we can think about Toothless?
Um, General consensus, probably gonna guess that everybody that listens will say he is awesome and written quite well.
Yep, Toothless is awesome. He's adorable, he's funny, he's badass, and he's just awesome. One of the best things we created as a human being, as a humankind.
I would say that in respect to how well he's been written so well that I guess it was meant to be anyway, but he is totally the face of the franchise. People see Toothless and they know, oh, that's that movie. It's really incredible how just kind of the originality of the design and
Right.
the unmistakable Toothless personality that he's known for.
Yeah, actually, something I found out is that if you show someone Toothless, he will connect it to How to Train a Dragon, but if you show him Hiccup, he won't necessarily get it. So that just shows that Toothless is the face of this franchise. I think he's even the main picture of the How to Train a Dragon Facebook.
Probably. He's also Toothless is also the face of the forum vine.
Yes,
The little
exactly.
header. Um,
And
yeah,
there's also all of the emojis.
that too. He is the number one emoji.
Toothless is all.
He is all.
Yeah. Toothless is love, Toothless
Toothless
is
is
life.
life. Yes, exactly.
Who's this Shrek? He's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, it's still DreamWorks, but that's a completely different podcast that doesn't exist. One thing I wanted to say.
Hello
real
and welcome
quickly-
to welcome to the Ogrecast, the Shrek
Oh
podcast.
God, that'd be too.
Hold on, I'm hanging up. Excuse
No,
me.
no. I was
Uh,
Voyager, come back. I was just
Please.
joking.
we
That's
need
all.
you. People like you because you give a different opinion. We're just two
Okay,
guys
alright.
without you. We're just two creepy guys without having an extra opinion.
Okay.
But back on the topic of Toothless, in terms of how he's written, I think they do a really good job with it because they could do it like in any other lovable character where they just overkill, but they also give Toothless the super sassy personality that makes him, it's like, oh, he's not always cute, he's not always just the happy, looks adorable kind of character. He's the character that he he keeps Hiccup in check. He'll whack him with his tail if he needs to.
Yes.
And he also has his flaws, and then they also write in the part that he's still a dragon, so he'll still have his issues. Like in the fifth episode of the newest Race to the Edge season, when they're on the island, you can see, you could say, or they could write that Toothless was immune to the parasites, but they give Toothless the parasites, so that shows you, hey, he's still a dragon, he still be affected. And then also in that episode, when right after they get rid of the parasites on Toothless, Hiccup's like, yeah, so see, it was the parasites, it wasn't me overworking, and Toothless shoots him like, you serious, dude? Look.
Yes.
So they could have just written him as like not giving anything, but he has personality, which is sassy and adorable all at the same time.
Yeah, and something I want to point out is that how easy would it have been after the first movie to just make Toothless something that gets Hiccup from point A to point B, and they don't go on that route. He's actually a character. He's expressing his opinions and his thoughts all without any dialogue, and that's really good. That's really cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I guess you could say that Toothless is the pinnacle of the show don't tell magic of How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Yes. And when you think about it, How to Train Your Dragon is not a franchise that focuses a lot on talking. Not the first movie
That
more
this first movie
than
was definitely more of a had more of those silent moments that I talked about in the first for the podcast about the first movie, and
yeah.
Toothless, like Vord you said, definitely the best use of emotion and body movements as opposed to dialogue.
Yes, because you can, without a voice and one word of dialogue, you can know anything about him, and that's an achievement for a character that doesn't talk. And because he leads the movies alongside Hiccup, so to make your main character not able to speak, that's a risk. That's a risk, and they pull it up really well.
hmm
So we talked about how much we love Toothless, but what is our favorite Toothless moment? Now, we can choose a runner-up and we can choose a favorite moment. So let's start with the runner-up. What is your runner-up?
I'll go first on this because I know my second favorite moment, but I have to choose between my first favorite moment. And you could say, well, wouldn't that leave a second one? But no, I'll just leave those two to be decided later. So my runner-up moment is at the very beginning of How to Train Your Dragon 2, when Hiccup and Toothless are just like joking around after they crash land, and Toothless hangs him over the cliff because you could just like that moment before it when he stands up and he's walking. First off, I love the walk that
Yeah.
Toothless does on the 2 feet. And he's just his. You can hear his joking. He's like, yeah, as he's walking, and Hiccup's like, whoa, what are you doing? Then Toothless laughs at him as he's dangling him over the cliff.
Yeah, that's great. Voyager?
Um, I don't know. I have a compilation of just toothless sass and adorableness running through my head as I try to decide here. I'm gonna call my runner-up the fish moment from the first movie, where Toothless presents Hiccup with his gracious present of food.
Ugh, yeah. Okay, so my runner-up is the end of Gift of the Night Fury, where he destroys the tail that allows him to fly on his own and forces Hiccup to put the old tail back up. And he like he pushes the saddle a bit, like he does this, please. And I love that. That's adorable.
That's a good one. I forgot about that one. Now I'm actually thinking about all the TV show moments too, and that actually brings me to my number one, which is at the end of the very first season of Writers of Berk, I believe. When Hiccup is talking with Astrid, he says, so backstory if you haven't seen the episode, his dad, Stoic, wants Hiccup to put a dragon flying show on. And all the other writers have found, other groups of dragons to fly with them. But Hiccup tells Astrid, oh, Toothless doesn't have anybody. And then Astrid says he has you, and he looks pretty happy. And it switches over to Toothless, and he's on his back. And if you've seen a dog ever try to scratch his back and it's like squirming on its back,
Oh yeah,
and he's
I
doing that,
remember
thought
that.
that's just so funny because it reminds me of my dog. So that's my favorite moment of Toothless because he acts like a dog there, and it's really funny.
Yeah.
You have to come back to me. I there's too many.
Okay, so my favorite Toothless moment is at the end of movie 2, the final battle after he blows the Bewilder Base's tusk off, and he just let out this giant roar, like this victory roar that I'm the alpha now, I'm a badass, but at the end of the roar, he does that little that's awesome. I
Yeah,
love
the
that.
snort.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love it so much. I can watch that moment forever.
That is a pretty good one. The toothless sass, right there.
Yeah.
That snort.
And also, just a point, after watching it for a few times, I noticed that when he starts roaring, Hiccup looks at them like, what the hell is he doing? But at at one moment he starts smirking as well, like, yeah, that's my dragon, that's my best friend. I'm with him on that. Don't mess with us. That's awesome.
Yeah, I also like the roar that he does as soon as he breaks or Hiccup out of the ice when they're like in the ice sphere. That roar is also really good because it's like an
Yeah, but
exhale roar.
yes, but I love that because I like the other one because there's no music. It's just that they didn't drown it or anything. It's just Toothless roaring, and it's awesome. So Voyager, you got your favorite moment?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it the one in the second movie where Valka shows Hiccup that Toothless has the extra spines on his back, and he's just so happy about it.
Yeah,
I guess that goes
man.
up for favorite and most adorable. 2 awards there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also good. I was thinking about that one as well in terms of my favorite moments because of the just how Toothless reacts to it.
Yep. Okay, so next up we have our least favorite Toothless moment. So let's get out of the way now. Toothless killing Stoic. That's it. We don't need a runner-up. That's like we don't need a least favorite. That's the least favorite. Let's choose a runner-up.
What was your least favorite? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
We all agreed it was when Toothless kills Stoic.
Oh yeah, that was
Seriously, man. How could you
yeah.
not?
Well, because I was thinking about another one. I was my head stuck in the TV show, and it was definitely the one where he's um, fighting against the Whispering Death. And he doesn't let Hiccup help him.
Oh man,
That
that's
was
my
annoying.
that's my runner-up. Now I have to think of something else. Damn it. Ugh. Okay,
That's hey,
so
that's because there's not too many moments that you can consider your least favorite. So we'll probably generally have the same thoughts on that one.
yeah. Okay, so Voyager, you go. If I have something else, I'll say it. But I need to think.
This is hard. This is harder than I thought it would be.
Hey, that
Because,
just
you
tells you
know,
how good of a character that Toothless is, right?
yeah, really. If
He's
you,
literally flawless.
oh man, alright. I'm totally
Hard
lost
thought.
here,
That's what we
guys.
thought. Yeah, like
Yeah,
seriously.
I like Toothless too much. I
Yeah.
can't.
Okay. I'm taking down this category. Let's just agree with what Rush says and move on.
Yeah, it's if anybody in the that's listening can think of a moment, please let us know. Because then we'll ostracize you for it for hating
Yeah.
Yeah,
Toothless.
but you probably can't because it's Dark Souls levels hard to think about. So there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we challenge you to find a moment that we haven't thought of.
Oh man, did any of you guys ever see the old Nintendo commercial where there's like these pixelated things going, "We are Nintendo, you cannot beat us." Just, just put pixelized version of ourselves there. We dare you to find a toothless moment that you hate. You
Other than the
cannot
ones that
do
we've
it.
already said, by the way.
And we can, yeah, we. I spoke in the wrong language for a second. Sorry. So,
It's
but
all right.
yeah, we. Aside from those two, I can't think of anything. So
Yeah,
let's move on. So his relationship with Hiccup throughout the franchise. So it starts off with, the first time we see Toothless is different is when, like how Hiccup didn't kill him, Toothless didn't go for the kill when he had Hiccup pinned down. That's our first clue.
yeah, that was definitely that was a defining moment. Um, obviously in the franchise, but it showed that like the second that Toothless didn't kill Hiccup when I first saw the movie, because we've gone over this several times that I actually saw the second movie first, and so I knew there. But when I saw that the first movie scene, um, I just realized it's like that wasn't just him saying like that wasn't Toothless saying you didn't kill me so I'm gonna kill you. That was basically Toothless being like, well, it wasn't a thank you. It was basically what
It was
Toothless
more
was
stay
scared.
away from me.
Yeah, it was because when Hiccup later says, he was just as scared as I was, I could kind of see that happening because if you like that's kind of at that point you're still thinking Toothless as an animal, at the like as dragons that are animals at that moment. So I was thinking, hey, most animals will only attack you if they're scared, or if they are, they'll try and like size you up and then run away while you're scared. Like because the gorillas, they'll run at you, and if you stand your ground, then they won't charge all the way through. I don't know if that's a myth or not, but that's if I remember that correctly.
Planet of the Apes told me otherwise, but
I
I'll
don't
take
think
your
that's
word for it.
100% accurate, but anyway. So yeah, I feel like that first moment, not only it shows you that Toothless really isn't an animal, that he has feelings, because he was just as scared as Hiccup was.
Yeah. Roger, your insight on that, if you have anything?
Um, not really. You guys are too good at this. I don't know. I guess
Oh.
I'm just here for color.
We need you to go
Uh,
first. I probably steal a lot of the ideas because I just think on a wide basis and say almost everything that comes to mind.
Okay, so continue on this conversation, Voyager. Is there any moment where the relationship between Hiccup and Toothless stuck out to you?
Um, to go for one of the obvious ones, I'd say at the end of the first movie, where, you know, Hiccup is probably dead. All we see is Toothless curled up on the ground. We're all very scared, but then Toothless shows us that he's saved his friend and that it's truly a reciprocal relationship. Toothless loves Hiccup as much as Hiccup loves Toothless. And I think it's both one of the most emotional, heartfelt moments of the franchise, but it's also one of the best. And just, most memorable because it's so powerful.
Yeah, actually, another thing I want to add, because as we said, Toothless is the only dragon that gets his own episode in this podcast. And the reason for that is when you look at it in in the TV show mostly, um, Toothless is the only one that actually has personality in terms of interacting with Hiccup. The Hiccup is literally talking to him, and Toothless understands him. It's also true to the movies, especially like what Russ said before, the opening of 2. And it almost seems like they understand each other, even though Toothless doesn't talk.
Yeah.
That just shows how strong the connection is, and also how Hiccup understand. For example, in the season opener for Defenders, I think, when Stoic bans flying, and Toothless is annoyed at that, and Hiccup actually explains to us that we we always fly together when the sun is
Setting.
when the sun is setting, and now we can do it, so he's annoyed. So it just shows how much they know each other, how much they can communicate with each other, even though again they don't speak the same language. They're different species, and yeah.
Yeah. I'm surprised you actually didn't bring this up, but if I remember correctly, one of your favorite moments in the first movie, is, other than the test fight scene, was this basically goes back to what you're saying about how they understand each other. It goes as early in the first movie as when Stoic pulls Toothless out of the water, or pulls Hiccup out of the water, and then he gets Toothless out. When Toothless flies up, he does that little head nod to tell him, "Come on, get on," and Hiccup immediately says, "You got it, bud."
Yeah,
So
right.
that basically just shows you right there their understood communication.
Yes, exactly. And I think the biggest accomplishment that they achieved is they broke down the Alpha's control together. As far as we know, in this world, nothing was able to do that before. So, um, if if their friendship can transcend something that was previously thought unimaginable to break, what does that tell you?
Yeah. And then just to continue on with the relationship thing, in Riders of Berk, we had our least favorite moment with the Whispering Death, versus Toothless. But that also shows another, stance of Toothless at the very end of the episode when Hiccup says, "Okay, you know, I'm done just saying, or I'm not gonna let that Whispering Death kill Toothless." Hiccup decides to put his own life at risk, and so Hiccup steps off the cliff, and Toothless dives down to save him, and then they fight the Whispering Death together.
You save me, I save you. One of my
Exactly.
favorite
They
quotes.
that's a hugely recurring theme.
And yeah, in the show we actually get a lot of like I remember in Race to the Edge season 3 part 2, there was an episode where the hunters shoot a sleeping dart at Hiccup and Toothless jumps in to take the hit.
Was it the Skrill episode?
I believe it was.
Yeah, I don't know if it was a sleeping dart or if it was the just an arrow that Dagger shot and Toothless blocked it with the muzzle that they put on him.
Yeah.
But
But
yes.
you got the idea. Okay, so next category, which will be more Voyager and I, because we have experiences with the book, is book Toothless versus movie Toothless.
Well, real quick before you guys get on that, I do know that Book Toothless is more on the category. He's a common garden dragon who's more on the category of in terms of looking like a movie dragon. He looks more like a terrible terror. As far as I know.
But the question is he a common garden dragon? That's the real question.
That is true, which I'll let you guys take
Yeah,
this
I
one.
know I'm not sure because again, only read the first one beginning to end, but
Well, then
isn't-
you don't know anything.
yeah.
There's
Okay, so
So this is
enlighten
only
me.
Voyager.
So yeah, but before we go into that, let's just for the audience who haven't read the books because the movies are more popular, I think.
go read the books.
Yeah,
I'm
but book Toothless is more like a terrible terror, like Rash said. It's green, he's tiny, and he's literally toothless. It's not that he has retakable teeth. And also, I think is that Book Toothless, at least in the first one, is a bit of an asshole. But all dragons are assholes in the first book, as far as I remember.
kidding. Most of them are. Yeah, as far as well, books versus movies. First thing appearance, Toothless is tiny in the books. He's really a brat. He's a very selfish dragon. I think that's a description that's used a lot. He likes food. He likes naps. He gets scared. He doesn't really defend Hiccup all that much. He steps in sometimes when it counts. But overall, Hiccup's the lead in that relationship when we look at the books. And then, when we look at the movies, we have the sassy Toothless, but they're clearly best friends. Whereas in the books, even though Hiccup and Toothless form a bond, it's still kind of a little bit, they may not,
You don't
I don't-
get brothers specifically, like you can get in the movies.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And also, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't Toothless's arc in the book is that he starts off as greedy like all the other dragons, but because Hiccup actually talked to him and told him jokes and everything, that's why he goes back to save him?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to summarize it.
Okay, so I haven't read it in a while, so I need some refreshing.
Yeah,
So-
I'll definitely need to get the books and read them. And just a quick question, Voyager: do you see Toothless's personality change throughout the books? The overarching, like, is he still kind of selfish and stuff with a little side toward Hiccup, or did he completely change? Is kind of what I'm getting at.
I would have to think about it too. I read all of them, but it's like you read the series and you put it down. I would say that Toothless does change quite a bit. If it's, I wouldn't say it's like a whole 180, 360 kind of thing. But Well, 360 would take you exactly back where you were, so it's a 180. Sorry. Circle math, everybody. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's a 100% personality change, but his heart opens up a bit.
Okay, good. That's
Yeah.
yeah. I didn't expect that. Because I would have felt the way that. I mean, I don't know Cressida. How do you pronounce her name? Is it Cressida? By the way, we should get that out of the way. I feel like
I have
it's
no idea.
Cressida Cowell.
I think it's Cressida Cowell. I think
Yeah, that's
it's the last name I'm not sure of, but
I'm pretty sure it's Cowell. We'll get some more viewers and listeners to tell us to correct us.
yeah. But actually, something I want to point out, if we mentioned her, someone asked her how much, what's her opinion about the movie changing so much from the book, and she's actually standing behind every change because she understands, because of the different mediums, changes needed to happen. So, and that's pretty rare for an author to support such big changes to his or her own work.
Yeah,
That
not gonna get too much into that. Like you said, sorry for cutting you off, but I do want to say this before we get off back on track that I believe they actually asked her about their creative input, and she, told them she basically worked on them with it. And this is in the movies, but in terms of the TV show, I think that's why they say based on books off of Cressida Cowell.
yeah, they put a lot more elements in the book of the book in the show than the movies. I found.
So but yeah, so just in the terms of the book, so you say Toothless does, we'll call it a 90-degree change.
Yeah.
Movie Hiccup or movie Toothless does he's always that way, and he's basically we just find out more about him. It's not that he changes at all; it's that we find out more about him. So,
Yes.
yeah,
We are supposed to find out more about them in movie 3, hopefully. And that's actually leads us to the final point of this episode, what we see in the future for Toothless. So, anyone want to start?
I mean,
Ooh.
there's got to be more sass, right?
Oh yes, there has
Yes,
to be
more sass indeed. But yeah, where we left him in movie 2, which is the last chronological thing for now, he's the new Alpha Dragon, and
still the only Night Fury.
still the only Night Fury. They do hint a lot that the Night Furies might be extinct, but that's a subject for a different episode, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of theories about that, so we'll discuss it sometime as well. What we see in the future for Toothless now that he's the Alpha Dragon?
You
You
go
go first,
ahead.
Voyager. No, you go first.
No, you go first.
No, you go first. I will quit right now if you don't go. Okay.
Oh God!
All right.
What is it with you two attempting to quit during during this episode? What are you implying here, guys?
We are overloaded by Toothless's adorableness, and just like thinking about it, we just kind of shut down. I'm sorry. I guess as
Okay.
the host, you're immune.
Probably.
You're the only sane one here, apparently.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't see me, but my back is glowing blue, like his back does.
All right, that's perfect. Leading into what I was gonna say, because we at the end of the movies, the second one, we see Toothless glowing blue with power unknown. We have no idea what this is, how it's caused. I want to know if Toothless can turn it on and off. That might be like the simple question in the whole thing. But I want to know if Toothless can now control this, or if it's just like kind of an emotional response. Like if all the dragons are in danger, or Hiccup's been captured, if Toothless is gonna bust in and start glowing blue out of his anger or desperation.
Yeah, I thought it was anger because considering all that he's been through, and also Night Fury, so it makes sense if anger triggers it. But yeah, so other than that, anything else?
Oh.
I mean, if we're
Okay, if you guys need a bit of time to think about it, I have a point in
Yeah,
the.
you go ahead.
Okay, so uh, one thing we do know that is that when Toothless becomes the Alpha Dragon, is sort of like a mirroring that Hiccup is now the Chief of Berk. We again, how much Hiccup and Toothless are identical to each other, but as opposed to Hiccup, who's excuse me, probably been prepared. His Stoic most likely have prepared him to be chief at one point, and also in the season finale for Defenders and Dawn of the Dragon races, he's acting chief. So Hiccup knew that his life eventually will lead him to being a leader, being the head of the village, but for Toothless it more fell on him rather than anything. He's new to this. He's not a bewildered beast. He's not an alpha species, called quote unquote. So it will be interesting to see him attempting to be a leader because he wasn't grown to be. He wasn't prepared to be one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that will be interesting. And also, if we found out more about his backstory and if eventually it will end up with him and Hiccup parting ways, how it will end for him? Like, will he lead the dragons to where? What he will do? What decisions he must make? And again, for a character that doesn't speak, I want to see how they will tackle it. That's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Right.
My thoughts towards the future are more. We talked about how Hiccup's gonna have his chiefing style and issues. I'd like to see how, if there are gonna be any, how Toothless will deal as the new alpha. Because I'm assuming that. Um, I mean, it's kind of hard to think what will the alpha be for as Toothless. Because what we really saw in the second movie is the bewildered beast really only kind of led them, but didn't really. He just sat in his hole and gave him food when it was time there. But you could also argue that he solved dragon issues? Question mark. I don't know. But so I'd like to see what, if we can find out what Toothless will do for the dragons as the alpha, because you can't really just say, "Oh, he's the alpha now," and not really do anything with it. In the third movie, short little tidbit here. I don't want to talk too much about what I'm thinking. But I'd like to see how they have different schedules due to the fact that Toothless has to deal with dragons and Hiccup has to deal with humans. Kind of like that. So that's what I kind of see for them in the future. I see just them dealing with different things.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think one of the responsibilities of Toothless could be to help the dragons find a home. I understand that they're like the stables on Berk, but thinking about what the good Bewilderbeast did in the second movie, I think technically wasn't that whole cavern made out of ice? Like,
It was.
his hole was
Yeah,
like
right.
he had made it for all those dragons. So maybe that's like the unspoken responsibility. You have to provide for your dragons. You have to find food for all of them. You have to make sure they have shelter. So if you're the leader, then that's what you have to do. And so maybe that's what we're gonna see.
Yeah. Actually, one other thing I want to point out regarding also to his relationship with Hiccup is that true he's not 100% responsible for it, but how much stronger is the relationship now after what happened to Stuik? Yeah, again, Toothless is not 100% guilty, but in the Burning Midnight comic, whenever they bring up Stoic to Hiccup, there's this one panel where Toothless turns his head away in disgust with himself. So, how much will that impact their friendship? Will that be brought up? I hope it will be, because if not, wasted opportunity there. But how much will that event impact these two? That's what I'm trying to say.
In terms of, I don't know if they'll probably bring something up in the movie, but they won't spend too much time on it. If anything, I'd like them to spend time on it in the Serpent's Heir, because that one's immediately after. So I feel like they should deal with their emotions quickly, and do stuff like that. Because if they deal with it in Serpent's Air and then deal with it in the movie, the third movie, then it's gonna feel like, well, they should have been over this by now, or they're spending way too much time on it.
Yeah, but there's one thing you're actually missing here and that's the point that the people who go to see the third movie most likely
Yeah.
won't read the graphic novel.
Yeah.
So,
So
if anything,
that's
it
a
will
good
make
point.
more sense that they'll ignore it in the novel, but it will be brought up in the movie.
Well,
That-
I think they should bring it up in the movie, but only as like it shouldn't be it shouldn't be like the deciding the plot line of the movie. It should
Yeah,
be like I think like
it
at
will
the
play a
beginning.
part, but won't be the major plot
Oh
point.
yeah, like at the beginning
Right.
they can have like a flashback and like have and then like Toothless issues, but they work out the issues pretty quickly and get on with their chiefing duties like that.
You see, guys?
But I do believe that there will be issues.
Yeah.
You see,
Roger,
guys,
anything, right?
yeah, you're onto something here. But the thing is, you got to realize that but in the third movie, Hiccup has had time to grow his Gandalf beard, then they should have gotten over their problems by then. You know?
I'm with Voyager. I'm with Voyager
Yeah,
on that. Yeah,
exactly.
Gandalf Hiccup over here having no issues with Toothless anymore.
Oh,
But
man.
yeah, I feel like
You
Hiccup
know, if they are
would-
parting
yeah.
ways at the end of this, I just want to have Hiccup holding the Dragon Blade. What does he call it? I forgot.
Inferno, I think.
Inferno, yeah. So he just stands with Inferno in his hands. Toothless is flying beneath him, and he's like, "You shall not pass."
Yeah.
And then he finds out that dragons are immune to fire, so they pass anyway.
Oh man,
I sense an epic parody coming on here.
Dean, get on it if you're listening.
Yeah.
Gandalf Beard Hiccup.
On
That
the
has to be a
off,
thing.
very, very off chance that he is listening to this.
Yeah. Please, we need Gandalf Hiccup. On that note, Voyager. First off, I should say, anything else that we want to add?
Yeah, anything else about Toothless that we want to point out?
Yeah. I think that kind of jumping back to looking at how the books end and thinking about how the third movie is gonna finish up. In the books, the dragons and the humans part ways, mostly for the protection of the dragons. So I guess the question is, we understand that at the end of the third movie, the dragons and the humans are probably also going to be separated. But I think it'll be interesting to see whether or not it's for the protection of the dragons, or if there's a reason or like a dividing conflict that ends it on a bad note. Just my thought there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good thought. I got nothing else to add on that. So
Yeah, we pretty much okay. So let's just sum up this topic of the day with Toothless is awesome, and is one of the best things we created as a humankind, as I said it before.
Yeah.
So
on
yeah.
that note, now we can get Voyager.
And
Random
now
question.
to Voyager's random question of the
Random
week.
question
Go
of the
ahead.
week.
Give me a drum roll so I can have the time to think of one. All right.
That was an actual drum. Not really.
Let's see here. It's so random, I can't even think of it.
Okay.
What if you played board games when you were smaller, or if you still do? What's your favorite board game?
Oh man, this takes me back. Rush, if you have anything, go. I need to think about it.
Either so when I was younger, probably Candyland. That one was really fun. But now that I'm older, I really like chess. I know I'm boring, right? So that's my answer.
Okay, so I didn't
I
know
like
chess.
it.
I didn't know chess count because then I would say that, but let me think. Actually, Voyager, if you have anything, go. I still need to think about it.
I think one of my favorites was Clue. I liked being a detective, and maybe occasionally taking a cheeky peek inside that folder.
Just like the twins were detectives.
Yeah, just like the twins.
Yeah. So you talked like TJ Miller. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good that I actually can't do the imitation right now, but just trust me, it happens.
We'll wait about for the twins episodes for that.
Mhm.
Okay, so actually, at one point there was what movie this was? It was either Toy Story 2 or Finding Nemo, one of these two, or maybe both. I don't remember. There was a board game around here where it was based on those two movies, and I played that one a lot. And they had a lot of creative ideas to say way two turns, like Mr. Potato Head lost his leg, or Dory forgot what you need to do, so you wait two turns. It was very creative, if I remember this correctly. So something around those things, something like that.
Cool.
That one sounds
And
cool.
yeah, and also chess. Chess
Yeah.
is and Monopoly.
The friendship ender.
Monopoly's pretty fun.
Uh, also, does Mario Party count?
We can save that for another random question because I really like Mario Party 2. It's a board game. It's a online or it's a video game. Video board game.
Virtual.
There we go.
It ruins friendships.
It does. It does.
Oh
Anyway.
my god. I remember playing 4 with a few friends once, and my god, one of them almost killed another. I'm not kidding.
Oh man. All right. I think
Okay, so
it's
before we go into a bigger tangent, I believe that's it.
yeah.
Okay, so thank you guys for listening. Hope you enjoyed. And tell us in the comments what is your favorite and least favorite Toothless moments.
We dare you to find one.
Yeah, we dare you on the least favorite one. Favorite one
Dark
is
Souls.
Dark Souls, the Dark Souls Toothless least favorite moment challenge.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 4. If you got this idea, we want pay. You can find us at the Berkcast on YouTube.
Yeah, we're doing this for free. We need money.
Yes. So on that note, I was HC.
I was Rush.
I was Voyager. Praise the sun.
Yep. And praise Hiccup's beard. And you can find us on the Berkcast YouTube page, and you can also find us and talk to us if you want on Berk's Femvine forum. We are all there. You can find us and a lot more How to Train Your Dragon fans. Check the site out. And that's it. See you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.